So we are moving on. We are going to have my friend Liz Smithers, who is a wonderful yoga instructor here in Kauai. She is at the Yoga Garage, and she's also the founder of LAKA, which I hope she will talk a little bit about. And she's going to teach us some smart exercises to protect the pelvic floor and preserve vitality. So Miss Liz Smithers, are you there and ready to go?
I am here. I'm not sure how I can put the video on though. And can you hear me?
We can hear you. Do you see a little camera?
Let's see. I'm gonna make it wider. Okay. There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Hi everyone. Man, there's been some really good speakers on here. I've really been enjoying all this, especially as I'm going through like postpartum and all of that. It's stuff that's just blowing my mind. So I hope that what I can offer to you guys can be of service too to new mothers or some of my friends I see are on here are already pregnant, and there's a lot of exciting things for you to come. So take notes. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about and kind of sharing my knowledge on protecting the pelvic floor and just being aware of what we call bandhas in yoga. To help, preserve our vitality and help ensure a nice, healthy delivery, seamless delivery, and somewhat quick recovery. So I had a baby in August, so I'm pretty much going through all of this right now, and I'm glad that some of the things that I did leading up to my first baby, which I had no idea what was coming for me, I'm starting to get a taste of it now, and I understand what people were telling me when they told me to do certain things. But one thing that I really was pretty religious about was how I shifted my exercise and kind of what I diverted my attention to in terms of just preparing me for the big push, the big gravitational pull, which I think is pretty interesting. So we're going to be talking about the bandhas. The bandhas are essentially our energetic locks that help preserve vitality in our body and also build strength from the inside out. So if you have any yoga practice or if you're familiar with the bandhas whatsoever, then just bear with me. But yeah, there's three different bandhas. So we have our Mula bandha, our Uddiyana bandha, and our Jalandhara bandha. And working together, they create ultimate strength, deeper than core strength. Core strength is a little bit superficial. Like when we see yogis that are able to press up from seated into a handstand or float across their mat looking like they've literally are flying through the air, that is their bandhas working. That's their energetic locks working. So it takes a lot of work, but also at the same time, not at all. You're using your bandhas more than you even realize. You're using your bandhas when you walk, even when you're breathing, and pretty much on every exhale, you're going to be lifting through your bandhas, which is basically you're starting your pelvic floor. So let's start with an intro to the bandhas and breaking down each one. So again, there's three. First one, at your pelvic floor, your root lock, your pelvic lock is your Mula bandha. And the way to lift this is, or engage this, is to lift the space between the genitals and the anus. It's the same exact thing for men and women. We still have the same exact place where it originates from. Women sometimes have an easier time finding it, but I think that it's going to be in the same exact spot. So the way that it differs from Kegels, you don't want it to just be lifting your anus. It's actually a lot more subtle, and it's, again, the space between the two holes if you think about it. So Kegels are really good, and I think that they can be really effective, but I think that it's a lot more subtle than that, and we don't have to try that hard to even have a really effective, long-lasting, just kind of continuum of strengthening of Mula bandha. So that is the Mula bandha. Uddiyana bandha that's Uddiyanah. So that is your lowest abdomen. That's your navel lock. So your navel actually extends from your belly button to about 4 inches down towards your pelvic floor. And the way to activate the Uddiyana bandha, which you can't activate Uddiyana bandha really effectively unless you have your Mula bandha in. So it's important that you find that lift first, and then to find Uddiyana bandha, you're driving the navel back towards the spine and trying to like drive it up behind the rib cage. So you go back and up. So if you're familiar with like Kapalbhati breathing or any type of pranayamic technique, like that you're clearing breath from the body, that's your Uddiyana Bandha working. And that's usually when you start to feel the most clearing or clarity, I should say, and you start to see the most changes in like your abdominal wall and the side body, and just start to build the most endurance in your yoga practice. So it's pretty phenomenal. The last one that you don't really access too much, not to say that it's not important, but is your Jalandhara Bandha. So it's at your throat. So it's your throat lock, it's your cervical lock, and it's on your neck. So in order to find this, you're tucking your chin to your chest, you're keeping the back of the neck really long, allowing the energy to flow through the back of the neck, right? And you're trapping the chin to the chest. So ideally, when we find our lift through the Mula Bandha and we're driving the navel back, activating Uddiyana Bandha, this gives rise, this channels energy up through the body, and we hook and trap the energy, right? So the importance of this is like vitality at its core, pun intended. So vitality at its core, so we're trapping heat and we're able to trap that strength. So super important. I don't want to get too much into the Jalandhara Bandha, but what I really found very useful for myself in just taking care of my pelvic floor and keeping some amount of exercise and movement and like work, challenging work into my life as I got more pregnant. I'm a fitness instructor and a yoga instructor, and I've always enjoyed being extremely active. And that's the first thing I asked Colleen and Sharon when I started meeting with them when I got pregnant, well, how hard can I still work out? Can I still do high intensity? Can I still do all these things? Like, what if it doesn't hurt my abdominals? And can I do this? And, Colleen finally was just like, okay, like you don't need abs while you're pregnant. That's not the time to get a six pack. So I'm like, okay, she's right. I need to figure out another way to drive that intensity into something else. So I really focused on just like becoming very religious with tapping into my bandhas. Okay, so what do the bandhas do besides just making us really strong and yada yada? They really help protect the spine, the internal organs, and again, like channel that energy up, which is really useful as you are getting heavier and heavier, or even postpartum when you've just had that extreme release, to help just keep things supported, right? Like gravity's constantly pulling you down, pregnant or not, even as you age, is constantly pulling you down. So like an everyday Mula Bandha awareness or Bandha practice, pelvic practice is super, it should be like a baseline of all health, I truly believe. So it's why it's a critical cornerstone of every yoga practice and can be extremely supportive for healthy labor and birth. So really just keeping them fit, exercised, and strong allows us to build like this resilience in the pelvic floor, which is, again, what I call the bounce back. So, and like birth hit me like in the best way possible, but it was so much more than I thought. And it's like priming ourselves and then taking necessary precaution and just not going too hard on ourselves during birth and then after birth. Like I cannot reiterate it enough. So super important. And everyone that's here listening already has somewhat of an interest or general awareness or consciousness around the importance of like female health and being connected to the body and body intelligence and consciousness. And that's really great because it's critical. So the bandha contraction, that lift or that push and that lift and like that lock, it affects pretty much every single system. So our nervous, circulatory, respiratory, endocrine, and energetic systems, which is why it's so, especially the nervous system, such a powerful adjunct to helping reduce anxiety, whether you're pregnant or postpartum or not. That's really how your yoga practice just starts to balance you out, right? You just start to feel really good after regular, daily, consistent practice. The combination of the breath, whatever your pranayama style is, and the bandha and the activation. And again, like I said, even if you're not even aware what bandhas are right now, you've already been using them to some degree, but hopefully by the end of my spiel, you'll be able to more intentionally use them and strengthen them and start to really pop open your body consciousness, which is everything. But you really want to protect the nervous system all the time. So why are they good for pregnancy and postpartum? Like I said, preparing and strengthening your system and already starting to lay down some resilience for one of the biggest gravitational pulls or the big push you will ever experience. Just like preservation, channeling vitality back into the body as weight is bearing down, right? You're getting bigger and you're getting bigger and you're constantly being pulled down. It's like, it's all you can really do to kind of help, yeah, preserve yourself. So also, and then I'll kind of get into how I shifted my exercise, because it's like, I never thought I would give up my exercise, but the bandhas help to, even if you're doing light exercise, which I do really believe in, and especially the second half of pregnancy and the like first 2 months of postpartum, to be doing really light exercises, it allows you to trap heat, right? So the locks in the body, you're lifting, you're trapping heat, the blood is being pulled up, like your energy is literally being pulled up, and you're able to trap the heat in a certain part of the body, clearing your respiratory system, cleaning out your digestive system, all that heat. That's what makes you feel so good from exercise, right? We feel so good when we sweat. We feel so good when we build heat. This really can help you get that fix of exercise during exercise. So like I said, probably at about month 3 to 5, I started to figure out how I was going to adjust my my exercise routine during pregnancy. And you know, I was entering pregnancy, I was like, I'm gonna be like one of those fit pregnant ladies. And like, I definitely kept it very, very active. But you know, those people that say you can work out as hard as you want in your entire pregnancy, and you can, and I think if it feels good, then you should definitely do it. But I really had this it really didn't feel good. Like, I felt like there was just so much weight coming down, and I have such an awareness of my pelvic floor, my bandhas to begin with, that it just didn't feel right. So I kind of just decided at month 5 or 6 to just really tone it down. Like, if I had this wild hair and I wanted to do a really intense workout class, then I could. But for the most part, I stopped doing my daily Ashtanga practice. I just kind of limited it to even maybe standing or even sun salutation. So really light yoga, got rid of the high intensity training, definitely didn't do any running. Even like long swims, I wouldn't do like too much swimming. And I really focused on just driving the heat into my body and keeping the bandhas really strong. So, and it built endurance too. I mean, I was able to, I feel like maintain some sort of cadence without feeling like I was putting too much pressure on myself. So that being said, I'll kind of walk you through, and I can share this too. So you guys that are pregnant or maybe postpartum, you can do this prenatal or postpartum flow exercise. I'm going to turn my screen to Kira, get on my mat, and just kind of walk you through some things that, yeah, I really just kind of stuck to, and it felt good, and just focused on the breathing, and like took the time when your body needed some more attention and intelligence dedicated towards the breath. Let me see this back. I taught a class at Yoga Garage, and now I need to move around. It's kind of different. I'm in a rental right now, and so gotta get creative. Okay, so you can come. Okay, I was gonna come back to him.
I gotta eat lunch.
Well, hold on. I'm doing a demo, so either come out or come in or come out. Sorry, everyone. Just wait like 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so starting in a cat and cow shape. And so, like I said, you're on the exhale, you're naturally going to be able to find your bandhas more easily, I should say. Not that you can't access your bandha strength and pelvic core strength on the inhale, but it's a lot more subtle, and it takes a lot more consciousness around the pubic bone and the sit bones. So starting in your tabletop and tucking the toes, dropping the belly, this is your inhale. You shouldn't be able to really feel the pelvic floor too much. Then when you exhale, you're naturally able to lift more through the pelvic floor, right? So Mula lift, Uddiyana Bandha press back and tuck under, and then your Jalandhara Bandha is the chin to the chest. So everyone's super familiar with cat and cow, right? This is why it's so important for women to do this in their prenatal stage, really postpartum too, right? So you inhale, you're lifting, and your exhale, it's easy to find there, right? Lifting through the pelvic floor, subtle lift through the, in between the genitals and the anus. Pressing back, finding your down dog, and the same thing here. So when you're in your downward facing dog, the sit bones are spreading really wide, right? We always want to stretch the backs of the legs. Instead, trying to scoop the tailbone under, right? So sit bone spread. Instead, scoop the tailbone under, lengthen the spine, and the Uddiyana Bandha is way easier to access as well. So you find your Mula Bandha easier, your Uddiyana Bandha easier instead of that. Because here, your Mula Bandha, right, when your sit bones are popping up and they're spreading wide and your hips are pulling up, you're not able to access that pelvic lift as easy, right? So when we're building strength, and so you're not going to be able to tap into Uddiyana Bandha, right? Uddiyana Bandha comes after you lift Mula Bandha. It's starting from the root, and we always go up through the center, right? So just a few here, exercises here. And then, of course, depending on how pregnant you are, right foot is going to come forward, finding your high crescent. Inhale here, find that. Exhale, lift. Inhale here, exhale, lift. 3 more. Inhale here. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Twisting. Taking 5 here. Right, and so when you start to get into different shapes in your sequence or in your practice, you're going to notice when you feel, when you're able to lift through Mula Bandha easier than not. So like cat and cow, down dog, very, very easy. Right, but we still want to challenge ourselves to build heat. Right hand comes forward, and we're going to come right into Warrior 2, 5 breaths here. So one thing, especially if you have a belly full of baby, belly full of baby or not, the only way you're going to lift Mula Bandha here in your Warrior 2, which is in pretty much every single yoga flow or sequence, you've got to be mindful of that right knee, and you got to be mindful of the hip. If your sit bone is popping out, you're immediately going to lose Mula Bandha, right? You want your tailbone, your pelvic floor to be stacking directly underneath your heart. The knee cannot be coming in, the toe can't be coming out, right? Knee stacking directly over the ankle, ideally knee directly over the ankle, not behind, not below. And we're like lifting through the front body, scooping the pelvic bowl under. Right, this is how you're going to access the Mula Bandha. And again, holding 5. Turning forward, toes in line with each other, fold. Just resting. Good, and then walking to the top of the mat. And then I'll face you to demonstrate. Really the only balancing that I was doing in probably, yeah, pretty much the majority of my prenatal was a tree pose. So another really good one to find that lift, right? That lift through the pelvic floor is what helps you stabilize and balance at a really superficial level, right? Of course, there's lots of balance postures that we do, and we're obviously using all the bandhas, but just to lay down the groundwork and the basics, finding a tree pose, and even if you're pregnant, it's going to be more like here, maybe toes on the ground. Every time you inhale, feel it, and exhale, strengthen it. Right, so it's just that constant awareness, and coming to the top of the mat. And you can go as fast or as slow as you need to, obviously, and doing as many times as you want, but really focusing on the exhale, the lift with the exhale, because that's going to be where you're naturally able to engage and just become familiar with it. So then as you're sorry, okay, you can say hi if you want to. There's a you can come in. So when you're standing in the bank, or even if you know, you're taking a break or an exercise break or whatnot, it's just like that constant continuous awareness of that lift. I really do feel like it helped me in my delivery. I had I felt really connected to my delivery. I have to say that. And I do credit a lot of it to that, just like constant awareness around it. And of course there can be a lot of different things anatomically. They're different with everyone's bodies that maybe prevent or ease your awareness around the bandhas. So I'd be happy to kind of answer any questions if I can. I hope that I can be of a source to you all. But they're really, I mean, it's a very overlooked, very little talked about concept in every yoga and movement practice. No one really talks about Mula Bandha, and I think that it would bring, even if you're doing yoga or not, any kind of movement practice, it's going to bring so much ease to everything that you're doing, because like I'm saying, it's like it's not like you're trying to strengthen your abs, right? It's not as superficial as like trying to get a six-pack. It's so much deeper than that, and it's more subtle, and like, you know, it's simply the way to start is finding the awareness around it. So yeah, that is my spiel. I would love to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
Liz, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Liz? All right, I'm going to put Liz. Number one, I want to say, okay, so when I met Liz, I took her yoga class, which is incredible. She is the only fitness instructor, not just yoga instructor, but fitness instructor that ever mentioned the pelvic floor, like repeatedly in her class, not just once, but like repeatedly. And I was like, I was hooked. Like, we have to talk. I need you in my workshop. So she knows what she's talking about. It's great information. And I used to watch her do yoga, and just with this humongous belly, and she was just it was really inspiring. So yeah, super cool to have you.
Hey, I'm so glad to be on here.
Awesome. Hey, I want to know, I briefly talked about LAKA. Can you talk about LAKA for a minute?
Yeah. So, and also describe our prize that we're going to give away. So, yeah, I own LAKA, and it's like the other side to, I feel like, my mission as a wellness enthusiast, and it's the food side. So the fitness side, I love both equally, but this is the food side. So LAKA is a plant-based wellness company, and we work primarily with adaptogenic herbs and chemical compounds and amino acids that help to manage daily stress, to put it in the simplest terms. So we have like a line of protein powders and nut butters and teas and lots of good stuff, CBD products that I definitely use daily, and I definitely design to support anyone's lifestyle, whether you're just starting out, trying to clean up your lifestyle, or just, manage stress in the amount. But we're giving away a jar of our tahini seed drip. Drips are basically different, just a fancy word for adaptogenic nut butters. So the tahini seed drip has shatavari root and vitamin C crystals in it. So vitamin C crystal is really great for the immune system, really great. I feel like it was fitting for the time we're in now. And shatavari is really, really helpful for helping improve lactation or breast milk supply, as well as like restoring reproductive health. Whether you're breastfeeding or not, or you have any intentions of it, or you weren't able to and you're just trying to regain libido and sexual health, shatavari is like, it is like the mecca for that. It's really, 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 I feel like the root was designed for women's health, because it's just so good. So yeah, we're giving away a jar of that, and I don't know, I think you guys do a drawing, yeah?
Yeah, yes. So I'm gonna, Liz, while Mary is going through her magic bag of names, I'm gonna post your information. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you or ask you more questions, let me put your info on. Hang on, you have a sec here. There we go.
Brianna Faring is the winner.
Say it again, Mary.
Brianna Faring.
Ooh, Woo!
Yeah, Brianna.
Congratulations. Woo woo! All right, Brianna, if you want to leave your email, you are more than welcome to. Or you can, oh, there you go. Okay, she did. She's fast. She's already.
We're just going to mail it to you directly, yeah, from a warehouse. So you should be getting a package in the mail within the next, what day is it? Saturday? This week.
Yeah. So we'll get you all your information when we email you and get your contact info and stuff. Okay, Liz, thank you so much. Any last minute questions for Liz before we go on to our last presenter?
Thank you all so much.